Ladies and gentlemen, partner Cherry Beckert and Holland, Don Patrick.
Good morning, everyone. Well, we're off to a great start. I lead the technology and life sciences practice at Cherry Beckert and Holland, and this is our third year as a platinum sponsor. We're pleased to continue to support one of the biggest annual gatherings of technology professionals in our state, and of course the recognition of our top 40 innovative companies. So every year, TAG conducts extensive primary and secondary research to understand how Georgia's technology industry is doing. TAG's committed to being the source of industry information for Georgia's technology decision makers, from technology executives and legislators to the media and economic development organizations. TAG has provided valuable strategic information and has used it to influence on behalf of the technology community for close to a decade. This research is compiled into our State of the Industry Technology in Georgia report, and you can find that at www.tagstateoftheindustry.com. It's actually my pleasure today to introduce Tino Mantella, President and CEO of TAG. I had the privilege of being the chair of the board of TAG when Tino was hired in 2004. You can come see me later for some stories, but trust me, we've come a long way since then. Tino will be giving us insights about Georgia's technology industry and how we can work together to attract, retain, and grow technology businesses and talent. Our goal is to become one of the top 5 states in the nation for technology by 2015. Tino?
Thanks, Don. Thanks for hiring me, too. I appreciate that. We have come a long way. Well, let me show of hands. We talk a lot about innovation, path to a brighter future, Georgia being at the top, but how many of you would rank Georgia out of the 50 states in the top 25 for innovation? Show of hands. How about the top 10? Top 5? There's a few out there. I can't see many hands anyways, but I know there were some hands going up. But well, I'll make the case that we are one of the top states for innovation. Zipcar just did a study, in fact, that found Atlanta number 1 in the nation for innovation over Austin, Boston, and yes, even the Silicon Valley. So ever since IBM introduced the PC in 1981, Georgia's been asserting itself as a state with a relentless, innovative spirit. Our technology revolution came to life in the early 1980s when a number of disruptive technologies burst onto the scene. Georgia was at the forefront of innovation as people like Dennis Hayes paved the way for the internet by revolutionizing the modem. Meanwhile, technology legends like John Imlay laid the foundation to Georgia's footprint in software when he built one of the most successful software companies ever, Management Science America, or better known as MSA. The company birthed more than 300 CEOs and nearly 100 other technology companies. So fast forward to the 1990s when Charles Brewer launched MindSpring, which was an early leader of the internet revolution. When it merged with Earthlink, we have some Earthlink folks here today, it became the second largest internet service provider in the world with over 3 million subscribers. These innovators laid a solid foundation for Georgia's industry, for Georgia's technology industry, and it's an industry that's flourishing today. But rather than list a lot of facts at this point and show you some more slides, what we'd like to do is show you our new TAG-created video that I think makes a good case for Georgia's innovative state. So let's roll the video, please.
Number 1 in the nation for entrepreneurial activity. Voted among the top 2 states in the U.S. for conducting business. Ranked among the top 10 states for the highest concentration of high-tech businesses. Georgia is a center of innovation and one of the top technology destinations in the world.
We are the green pastures that technology companies are looking for.
Georgia is a progressive state where cutting-edge technology, research and development, higher learning, business-friendly legislation, entrepreneurship, and a fusion of culture and leisure combine to create economic well-being and an unmatched quality of life. Technology fuels Georgia's economy. Over 13,000 technology companies employ more than 250,000 technologists with degrees from some of the top schools in the nation, including Georgia Tech, Emory, and Georgia State. Georgia schools produce some of the most highly skilled graduates in the world. The state boasts the fourth largest university system in the U.S., with 68 technical colleges and universities. And it's one of only 4 states with 2 or more schools ranked among the top 25 public national universities by U.S. News and World Report. This access to education and the presence of high-paying jobs, a low cost of living, and a superior quality of life has made Georgia one of the fastest-growing states in the country. The heart of this growth is in Atlanta and the surrounding metro areas. Ranked as one of the best cities in the U.S. for new grads, the thriving metropolis has become a top destination for the young, restless, and socially connected. In fact, Atlanta is frequently ranked one of the top cities in the world for social and mobile activity. Highly skilled talent, plus progressive economic development programs and policies, and resources dedicated to delivering some of the best and most affordable access to broadband and power in the U.S. have made Georgia a powerhouse for a technology-driven economy. Add to this the world's busiest passenger airport, 2 deepwater ports, and the most extensive transportation network in the country, and Georgia becomes a gateway to the world. Georgia's technology prowess is fed by established clusters of businesses focused on health IT, communication services, financial technology, information security, logistics, interactive marketing, and data centers. Georgia is the nation's capital for health IT and is positioned well among the top 5 states in the nation for the other leading clusters. Contributing to the success of these clusters is a thriving entrepreneurial community. More than 500 small businesses launch in Georgia every month. Entrepreneurs have access to a full ecosystem of resources, including a network of passionate and seasoned veterans and investors, venture conferences, and first-rate incubators. In fact, the Advanced Technology Development Center at Georgia Tech was ranked by Forbes among the top 10 best technology incubators in the nation. Regional and statewide industry groups, including the Technology Association of Georgia, complete the technology ecosystem with innumerable networking and educational opportunities, and the celebration of the technology community's milestones and successes. The opportunities in technology are endless, and the quality of life in Georgia is second to none and able to fit every lifestyle. For the city-goers, Atlanta offers world-class entertainment and artistic venues, professional sports, museums, a burgeoning culinary scene, top-notch shopping, and a bustling nightlife. Head north of the city and experience Georgia's wine trails and national forests. Travel east and enjoy world-class golf courses, including Augusta National Golf Club, home of the Masters Golf Tournament. Journey to the coast and savor stunning ocean views, Epicurean delights, and the dramatic architecture of Savannah. Georgia is a beautiful, welcoming, and family-friendly state where your technology business and career can thrive, and where you can enjoy an incredible quality of life. Technology is the future for our world, and Georgia is the future for technology.
I know we have the Chamber of Commerce here and many people from around the state, so hopefully it makes everybody want to come to Georgia, grow their business in Georgia. And certainly we're making the case that Georgia is a path for a brighter future in terms of technology. As we conducted our research for this year's State of the Industry report, we set out to find the economic impact for technology on our state. We knew we had a lot of high-paying technology jobs, but we wanted to better understand how spending in this sector trickles back through the economy. which would give us the knowledge which we believe would further underscore the significance of technology in Georgia. So we once again engaged our research partner, Internet Decisions, to help us gather raw data and conduct primary research. Additionally, we hired Georgia Tech economist Alfie Meeks to determine our economic impact. But before we talk about the impact, I do want to take a step back and just thank our sponsors of the State of the Industry Report, including our partner sponsors, Georgia Department of Economic Development and Siemens. I also want to recognize John Yates, who's the task force chairman for the State of the Industry Report and the task force, along with Melanie Brandt, who's really taken that project under her wing. So we embargoed the results for our report and specifically for the economic impact study until now, believing that the summit was the only place to introduce this information. So can I have a little drum roll, please? Thank you. So Georgia's company that produce technology products and provide technology services generated an economic impact of $113.1 billion in industry sales in 2011. A total of 612,000 Georgia employees have jobs due to spending by the technology sector. That includes more than 253,000 people employed directly through technology companies. There are two primary reasons for this. One is there are a lot of employees working in the technology field, 253,000. And secondly, they're typically higher salaries. So that means that there's more money to push back into the economy. Technology is clearly Georgia's path to a brighter future, but there's still some challenges to overcome to become a top 5 state, which, as Dawn said, is certainly TAG's goal. Taking into account all the interviews we've conducted and research we did, we boiled down into 3 areas: education, workforce, and business ecosystem. The challenges in these areas are difficult but not insurmountable. But by tackling them, we can support innovation and lay the path to Georgia becoming a top 5 technology destination in the world. First, let's talk about education. The National Science Foundation predicts that some 80% of jobs in the next decade, that's 80%, will require some form of math and science skills. In Georgia alone, the Alliance for Science and Technology in America predicted that some 211,000 STEM-related jobs will need to be filled by 2018. The good news is that the University System of Georgia has told us that 27.7% increase in STEM majors among participating institutions since 2007, and there's an 11.3% increase in STEM degrees given out in that same period of time. The not so good news is, according to the University System of Georgia, only 42% of the state's young adults are prepared for future in STEM careers. Georgia's class of 2011 performed below the national average in 8 of the 11 advanced placement exams offered by STEM-related subjects, according to the College Board. Georgia students also performed below the national average on math portion of the SAT, placing 49th. To remain competitive as a state, Georgia must not only maintain the current graduation levels, it's imperative that we produce an additional 250,000 graduates over the next 8 years. In regards to workforce, technology opportunities in Georgia are growing. In 2011, the Georgia's technology sector added nearly 6,000 jobs, and there was just a recent study on this that said in total the jobs in Atlanta we're also number 2 in the nation in terms of growth. And hiring is also expected to continue. We track our technology job opportunities every month, and right now there are more than 4,000 technology jobs open in Georgia. So even though the unemployment rate at last count was 9.1% in our state, Robert Half Technology found the average unemployment rate for computer programmers and web developers, and many of you know this in the room, was only 3.6%, and it drops to less than 1% for computer network architects and database engineers. Our technology decision maker survey revealed that there are many critical positions that are difficult to fill, including systems administrators and application developers. So if Georgia can't provide the talent our companies need, we'll continue to lose jobs to other states and overseas. One of our biggest challenges is retaining talent. We worked with a group of Georgia Tech graduate students earlier this year to determine why we lose graduates to other states. And the respondents told us there were two biggest reasons. And the biggest reason was actually that they believe that there aren't the number of jobs in Georgia in their particular industry. So the study also revealed, and this may be a no-brainer, that students who receive job offers in Georgia companies are more likely to stay in Georgia. So everybody's got to offer them more jobs. It's equally important to generate interest among students in STEM careers and to keep them in our state after they graduate. Finally, in respect to our business ecosystem, business satisfaction in Georgia is improving. Overall satisfaction related to conducting technology business in Georgia increased 10% in 2011, according to our technology decision makers. But we still have our challenges, namely when it comes to business regulations and support for our entrepreneur community. In 2011, Atlanta was ranked second in the nation for entrepreneurial activity, but in terms of funding for our companies as a state, we're coming up way short. This year, we took a look at how Georgia fared in VC dollars compared to other benchmark states since 1999. Even at the peak of the tech boom, we still lagged behind California, Massachusetts, and Texas, and only reaped 2% of the share of the VC dollars. Today, we receive just over 1% of the share. So it's simply not acceptable to be in a leadership position as an entrepreneurial state and yet not have the funding to accelerate the growth for our best prospects. As we look at other ways to build our technology footprint, we should consider a comprehensive plan at the state level for science and technology. An analysis by Georgia Tech Research Institute found that Georgia fell into the bottom half of states when it came to implementing technology legislation. So some of us might be thinking it is true that less might mean more, but in our case, there's legislation we need in respect to funding, education, and infrastructure. Our technology companies should be motivated to be heard, especially when it comes to restrictive regulations, while building out incentives that will provide support while attracting even more companies and talent. So how do we tackle these challenges? In terms of education, we need to get more of our state's K through 12 students interested in STEM, and there are several ways to do that. First, we should institute a bring your own technology in the schools. Not only does this open the doors to high-quality digital learning opportunities, it enables schools to ensure students have access to up-to-date research and information without incurring huge costs for new books. Second, it's important to support our charter school system. These schools, such as Tech High in Atlanta, provide more choices to students, particularly those in underserved areas. It helps them to get the education they need to pursue STEM careers. Finally, it's essential to mandate that all high school students take one or more technology classes in order to graduate. If you think about it, there's requirements for languages, but there's not requirement for a computer science class in our Georgia high schools. From an area of workforce, we need to put a focus on retaining talent. The steps include feed, foster, and accelerate talent, a model that we're using at our TAG Education Collaborative. We should feed an interest among STEM student careers by exposing them to the types of jobs they can have in these fields. This will require a massive awareness campaign to educate students on opportunities in STEM. Our TAG Education Collaborative is beginning to focus on sixth graders in this regard. Once we've heightened the awareness, we need to stoke the flames of interest by funneling these kids into experiential learning opportunities like FIRST Robotics and TAG Education Collaborative's Web Challenge program. We also need to foster a stronger connection between our universities and our technology companies to anticipate the needs and churn out more graduates in these skill areas. Finally, we need to accelerate the rate at which our open tech jobs are filled by generating more opportunities for apprenticeships. Many companies want people with experience, but many good people can't get into the company to get the experience in the first place, so we're facing our own double-edged sword unless we do something to help gain the necessary experience. In terms of business ecosystem, the importance of technology to the state's economy suggests a need for a comprehensive state technology policy. So we talked about how Georgia stacks up against other states for access to venture capital. As a state, we need to invest in our companies that exhibit high potential by establishing a fund to support other funds so we can give that back into our companies. We're the only state in the southeast other than Alabama that does not have a fund, and there was legislation in the hopper this year, but it doesn't look like it's going anywhere to establish a $200 million fund. But I do have some good news, and many of you have been fighting this battle for a number of years, but the state is going to pass the approval of allowing state pension funds to be used for alternative investments. So that's really good news. Yeah, I think it's worth a round of applause. When the rest of the country sees Georgia ready to make changes and begin its own dollars and begin investing its own dollars in venture capital, we will build a vibrant ecosystem for the startup and entrepreneur community that's vital for job creation. We must also make sure our infrastructure-related legislation supports innovation, allowing exemption on equipment and creating economic development incentives to encourage tech companies to locate and to expand. This will help push us to the tops in terms of job creation. The theme of Path to a Brighter Future through innovation is a path that can't be taken without you. As you listen to the rest of today's presentations, I encourage you to think about where the technology industry is headed and how you can impact the path Georgia's taking to support the growth of this community in our state. First, make your voice be heard by following technology legislation going through the House and Senate. And let your legislators know how you feel about these issues. And let us know if there's technology issues that you need us to address. Our Director of Government and Public Affairs, Richie Johnson, was hired to make sure the technology community has a voice. So help us to help you by pursuing the kinds of legislation that makes Georgia a business-friendly state. Second, promote Georgia as a great state for technology. Tell your own story about your career and the exceptional quality of life you have here in the Atlanta area and in Georgia. Help TAG tell the story by generating 200 views on the Georgia technology video. So we have about 1,000 people here today, and if all of you go back, and we're going to email you today and send you the video link, if you all go back and send it to 10 of your friends, maybe from other parts of the country, have them play the video, we'll quickly hit our 10,000 views on YouTube. In fact, we're in the midst of a tech tweet tournament trying to find the best tech tweet champion. We were down to the tweet 8. We may be moving into the tweet final 4, so feel free to participate in that. But that's helped us push over almost 2,500 views already on YouTube, so we're getting there. And finally, help us get our kids interested in STEM. If you have kids that are in K through 12, talk to your school administrators about the importance of putting STEM back into the classroom. And take on a student intern this summer. Our goal at TAG Education Collaborative is to place 100 rising high school seniors in tech jobs this summer. And so you could see Michael Robertson. He's here as our Executive Director of TAG Ed, and he'd be more than happy to speak to you about how to hire a school intern. I promise you, these kids that go through this program are some of the smartest kids you're ever going to want to meet. So the momentum is building in Georgia's technology community, and other states are starting to take notice. I recently talked to one of our members who had visited Facebook and some of the other companies in California, and they actually were asking about what's happening in Georgia. And it was a good what's happening in Georgia in terms of technology, and they also referenced TAG, so we thought that was extremely positive. So as we discussed today, we have some areas that we need work, but there's nothing that we can't overcome. The men and women who laid the foundation for technology industry in Georgia have built a solid path to a brighter future. A future full of high-paying jobs, a future with a strong economy built on innovation, and a future where Georgia is a top state for technology. So thank you. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of the day. And now it's my opportunity to introduce the second Hall of Fame video. This one is on Pete Kite, who is currently the co-chairman and managing partner of the Comvest Group.